Yeah, if you hadn't forgotten already, Gareth Southgate has resigned as England manager last week. The attention now is on who could replace him, and Newcastle manager Eddie Howe is top of most people's list. The Daily Mail's North East correspondent Craig Hope joined the Sunday session yesterday to have his say on the Toons boss's links to England.
I think Eddie's used it as a tactic, as a power play. You know, the key quote, I think, amidst it all was he said, you know, I'm committed to Newcastle. I love Newcastle. I want to be happy at Newcastle. I absolutely want to stay at Newcastle. But he said, it's no good me saying to you guys I'm going to stay if the environment isn't right, if the dynamic off the pitch isn't right. And right now, he doesn't know.
Look, loads to discuss here, Dean, on this situation, because there's managers in the hunt. Pochettino, Graham Potter, Eddie Howe. I mean, people are talking about Jurgen Klopp. I just can't see that ever happening. Eddie Howe, for me, to get him away from Newcastle, the only job really that comes up that you can't turn down is the England job, surely, Dean. Like, you can't turn the England job down.
No, you've got different opinion to me. I actually think if you look at Gareth Southgate's job... And what he was criticised for is that he's got all the best players and can't get them to win a major championship.
Yes.
He hasn't got a team like Georgia where he has to shut up shop and make them solid. He's got to play all the right cards. He's got ammunition on the bench beyond belief. I mean, Braithwaite never made the squad. 70 million they've turned down. Everton, no other team in the world has got a 70 million pound centre-back apart from Van Dijk and Akanji.
Well, they ain't got a 70 million pound player that can't get in the squad.
Yeah. So I think the England manager's job is, if you look at what he's been criticised for, is you need a manager who has dealt with a squad of superstars and he gets them all on board and to win. So I wouldn't go untried and tested. I would start at Pep, Klopp, and work my way down. Ancelotti.
But you're not going to get there.
Even Mourinho.
What are you talking about, Dean? It's just not being realistic.
No, you've got to start there.
Well, you don't want Mourinho as the England manager.
Right. If you listen to what I just said, it's a different job. The coaching the England team, you've got the ball all day. You've got the best players. You've got to get them somewhere. Like Alex Ferguson knew what to do. But Alex Ferguson knew what to do. Where he would work out. Man United had the ball every week for 8 years, 9 years. And he knew when he couldn't break a team down, he knew what subs to bring on. He knew how to change it. He knew what his weapons were. And I think the people like Mourinho who've managed the highest level with the best players, they know what to do because they've got the ball all day normally.
Does Eddie Howe know what to do?
I don't think Eddie Howe's had a team where he's got the ball all afternoon every week. And that's what you need with the England job.
So you don't think Eddie Howe's the right option?
It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Graham Potter's a gamble. They're gambles.
How is it a gamble? I mean, Gareth Southgate was a gamble. Well, and that paid off pretty well.
Well, you think that, like the Spanish team, they brought the under-21 manager through. You think that's the route to go, don't you?
Well, there's an argument for that. You know, the Argentina manager's done the same thing. De La Fuente, the Spain manager, started at the 17s, went to the 21s, won, and then becomes a manager, does the same. You need to know international football. That's why there's talk of Lee Carsley becoming the England manager, because
I'll give you an example.
Doing well with the under-21s. I would go with Eddie Howe or a Graham Potter. That's what I would do. Because what I think you need to have is a manager who's been doing it in the Premier League, knows how to get the best out of players, and plays an attractive style of football that players like Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Saka are used to playing week in, week out. The problem these players have got, they're playing Guardiola one week, Ancelotti, Mikel Arteta, playing free-flowing football. And then they go away with England, and they've got a manager who's defensive-minded, wants to sit in, wants to, make sure we don't get beat. But Graham Potter and Eddie Howe are managers who want to play a free-flowing style of football who's attacking. So it's a continuation of what they're already doing. That's why I think they'd be a good fit.
They haven't won anything. Graham Potter and Eddie Howe.
Yeah, but
I'll give you an example, right? You put 100 coaches on a coaching course. By the end of the week, 90 of them could set a team up to be defensively solid.
Yes, 100%.
The other 10%, there's only 10% that could set a team up to go and take low blocks on every week. You're playing against a low block every week. Man City play against a low block every week. Pep Guardiola, halfway through the game, goes, get your kit off, Grealish. Get your kit off, De Bruyne. Get your kit off, Doku.
Yeah, but Eddie Howe could do that for England.
Well,
Eddie Howe's got to play.
How do you know?
Well, because What do you mean, how do you know?
Well, I know Pep's done it. I know Klopp's done it. I know Ancelotti's done it. I know Mourinho's done it.
And they've had the best players.
Yeah.
You put Eddie Howe in Man City's team as a manager, he'll win the league.
So why did you put Sean Dyche in charge then?
What are you talking about?
If you talk about managers, you wouldn't put Sean Dyche in charge because
Sean Dyche is he's tactically completely different to Eddie Howe.
Sean Dyche, for me, is a really clever man, and he deals with what he...
I know, he's a brilliant...
He asks players to do what they're capable of, so he can't play the total football with the teams. He's managed Burnley for 8 years.
What do you want Sean Dyche to be the England manager?
No, I'm just saying, I think the England manager should know how to get a group of superstars together and to win.
You're talking garbage.
I'm talking garbage.
You're talking garbage. Sean Dyche is a really good manager for Everton at Everton because he gets some solid.
When you were at Billericay,
4-4-2.
was you an attacking manager?
Yes.
Was he?
Well, I tried to be.
That's why you sat here.
But Eddie Howe is an attacking manager and tactically brilliant. And he's on the level. He hasn't won anything because he's not at Man United or he's not at Manchester City, but he's trying to get there. That's why he's at Newcastle. So it's a continuation for the players with someone like Eddie Howe or Graham Potter.
Bearing in mind, I've done that job for 3 years, and I've seen what the job is. The international manager's job.
Assistant manager, right?
Yeah, for 3 years.
3 years at Wales.
Yeah, with Toshak.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it different though, Dean? Can you get a group of players together in the weeks that you have them and play a certain style of football that you want to play? Can you implement that philosophy?
I'll tell you what the job is, right? Tactics and picking the right team. Now, that sounds basic. Tactics, you've got to get right. You say playing Germany, in your head, 3 months before the game, you've got a team that you're going to pick. When you turn up, for example, you've got a player who's man of the match against Russia. 3 months later, you're playing Germany.
Yeah.
That player's been on the bench for Crystal Palace for 6 weeks, not played. And you stand out on the training pitch with your assistants and you're watching him training, like Luke Shaw. Gareth Southgate had that problem with Luke Shaw. You speak to the player, are you fit? Do you feel okay? Do you think you can play? If you get that team selection wrong, there's no game next week to put it right. So on the day, your experience, like I thought, John Toshak's really clever man, and people are going to say he never won anything with Wales, but yeah, I learned so much from him. Never won anything. He would say to me, don't think that player is telling you the truth when you ask him if he's all right.
Yeah, of course.
They all want to play. He said, we got to watch him. And we'd watch him training, and he'd still get it wrong sometimes. That player's not the same player. That's
probably the issue that Southgate had with Harry Kane.
Yeah, so you can't get him fit in a week. You can't. The food they eat, John wanted him to eat the best food possible. He didn't care. Keeps you happy. Food keeps you happy. He said they're here for a week.
Yeah.
Keep them happy, and then get the tactics right. So he was good. He
Yeah.
So it's a different job to being every day on the training pitch.
I get that.
Team spirit, dealing with players who aren't playing.
Yeah.
And you've got to keep them involved. You don't have to do that with international football. You pick the team, that's it. See you in 3 months.
Yeah,
it's a different job.
I get it. It's a different job, but for me, Eddie Howe can't take. If they phone you up, John McDermott is in charge of it all. If he phones you up and says, "Listen, I want you to take over as the gaffer," Eddie Howe has to walk into he has to go into the bosses and say, "Look, sorry, I've got to go."
By the way, I'm not I think Eddie Howe's a really good manager, and Graham Potter, but I would pick someone who's had a group of superstars, 20 of them.
You're backtracking.
No, I'd have someone who's dealt with that, a group of superstars, and got them to win. And you've got the ball all day. He knows how to get them weapons to crush the opposition.
I think Graham Potter would be a good fit for England. I think he's an FA man, but I think he's also got a style of football and a philosophy of playing that them players would enjoy. So I think he'd get the best out of them.
Do you think he's going to be better than Gareth Southgate?
It's hard because he's got to finals, Gareth Southgate, and he's found his way. But, you can't get away from the fact that the way we got to these games and the way we got through these games and the teams that we faced, he had some lucky routes. I think Graham Potter's a better manager than Gareth Southgate.
I've heard a lot of people saying they'd like Bielsa
all right,
as manager. How about that one?
What?
I've heard a lot of people saying they'd like Bielsa as manager.
I'd love Bielsa.
All out attack.
Yeah, of course. Why not? We've got the players for it.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.